Hey, I'm Meghann Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. Coming up in today's show, the big interview is with two members of Comhairle and Nogue in Limerick who won a World Health Organisation gold medal. First up, the top stories in Limerick, and a significant amount of PPE was delivered around Limerick City and County by Heroes Aid. Next up, Limerick Pride is set to take place online this year, and Cian caught up with chairperson Lisa Daly to learn all about it.
This year, as you know, Limerick Pride Festival has been cancelled on the street due to COVID-19. But we're decided to go virtual this year online so that we could reach more people.
And in what way can people get involved this year, Lisa?
Well, we're hoping from the community, we would like them to send us in short clips just saying simple Happy Limerick Pride message, just as simple as that, so that we can include you in our virtual parade. If you want to put your pictures or like yourselves, family pets, the more colourful the better for us. We want to include all this in a virtual parade which we take part on Saturday, July 11th at 2:30 online. So we would really love it if people sent us as much of the community as possible, because we'll also be part of Pride Inside. So we'll be the opening on the Saturday for that event as well. So we won't be just witnessed in Ireland. This is going global. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us to reach communities in rural areas that really aren't out to their families, can't attend prides, that we're actually reaching them in the safety of their own homes. So we jumped on this opportunity now to try. Everything is new to us, so we are really excited about trying to really show off Limerick for what it is. So that's where we really need the community now to come in and be totally part of Limerick Pride this year virtually.
And one thing about Pride every year is it's accepting of everybody, and there are a lot of people getting involved in the Pride Inside. But you mentioned rural Ireland there wouldn't be as many supports for the LGBT community in those areas.
No, and myself and the chairperson of Kerry, we had a 3-hour long phone call, and it was about us being neighbours, and it's never happened in the history of all these prides teaming up together. And we had a 3-hour long discussion, and it was about basically being neighbours, and we should be teaming up together, especially in this time when all of us, they're a smaller pride than us and they wouldn't have the parade. They were only coming back this year for the first time. So we were speaking of, like, for instance, the attacks like that for us, the homophobic attacks in like Abbeyfield for us, with Limerick and other areas around, that normally wouldn't be able to get our support through it. So we're hoping that we can reach those people through their computers, or and no matter what age they are, and can still be a part of it. And if they would like to be a part of our Pride, just send us a picture and you are a part of Limerick Pride 2020.
And one thing with Limerick Pride is it always brightens up Limerick with colour, and it's a bit of colour that the city probably needs at the moment. But now it's going to go virtual and light up everybody.
Yeah, it was when we had basically nearly 90% of Pride done this year, and I was delighted because I thought we're well ahead this year, so we can add more. So I just looked at it like that. But then with everything that's happened, we had to make the decision, because we knew ourselves, and event management into my thing anyway, so I knew it was going to affect something as big as a Limerick Pride Festival. So with that, we made the decision early. Some did think at the time it was a bit early, but I still think we made the right decision, and we got a lot of positive feedback. So I have to thank everyone for that as well, for being so understanding. But with this, we looked at it as an opportunity. It was like we didn't want to, with the high of last year and being so big last year, and the excitement, the positivity we received from it, we always wanted to build Pride each year bigger and better each year from it. So why let it drop this year? So this year is all a new experience, but I feel that we shouldn't be missing this opportunity to do something and bring some happiness in life and the rainbow into people's households now.
Lisa, thanks very much.
No problem, and happy Pride.
Next up to our Out and About section, and I caught up with Jill Cousins from the Hunt Museum to learn more about Fun to Cobble. First up though, Peggy Ryan told me all about Ardnacrusha Memories and some of the stories that she's been gathering. It's the Limerick Post Show with me, Meghann Scully, and delighted now to be joined by Peggy Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, Meghann. I'm good, thank you.
Now it's a very exciting project we're working on. Ardnacrusha Memories. I was speaking to Rosemary from the Hunt Museum all about this initiative, and I believe you've been very busy collecting some stories about Ardnacrusha back in the day. So would you mind sharing some of those with us?
I've been sitting in people's backyard. I've been talking to them on Zoom. I've been phoning, email. Because of COVID-19, we obviously can't do a physical collection day, which would usually be the case. But he's been very good. I've had an amazing response. Uh, Yesterday was treasure trove. I spoke to this lady whose dad had worked as a supervisor on the Shannon scheme, and all his memories. And as luck would have it, his 14-year-old son had a camera and took the most amazing photographs. So all these wonderful photographs are kind of interesting as well, because his wife took in lodgers because they lived in close to the scheme as it was going on, and she also ran a shebeen in the back of her house in a shed. Another son then at 14 was supposed to go to the CBS but refused. So his dad decided he'd get him a job breaking stones and he'd be delighted to go to the CBS, but it didn't happen. The son also worked there on the scheme. So great stories there. I've been speaking to a few of the electricians, and they would have trained in Ardnacrusha as an electrician, and then they worked their working life, some of them up to 50 years worked there, and great stories because the changes they had seen, the automation, and Ardnacrusha being from a very, very important source of power for the country, and slowly other stations taking over, and eventually with automation and computerization, Ardnacrusha being even run remotely. Great stories, great memories, memorabilia, lovely objects that they had collected or that they were sharing. Another lovely story was a neighbour of mine. Her dad cycled from Broadford, County Clare, down to Partine the day of the opening. In 1929, W.T. Cosgrave opened the station by opening the sluice gates at Partine Weir and just letting the water into the head race. And he cycled down, and W.T. Cosgrave was there with his wife and two children, Liam and Michael. And Broad, as he was called, because he was the youngest brother of 7 girls, so they called him Broad as brother. And he played around with the two boys and watched all the and then 5 years later, 85th anniversary of the opening, Brod was asked back, and Liam Cosgrove, who had been a former Taoiseach, the two of them met in the very same place 85 years later, being connected by the power station and the whole scheme. So that was another wonderful. Her granddad was one of the first engineers in the power station. As you know, Thomas McLaughlin would have been the whole architect, and he was the one to build the power station and all the rest. So he, as luck would have it, he had gone to college in Galway and studied BE engineer, a BE Eng, and met Thomas McLaughlin there. And then in 1929, he received a telegram from Thomas McLaughlin inviting him to become one of the engineers in Ardnacrusha. So he did. He joined another 3 engineers and had spent his working life there. And again, the ESB provided staff housing on the grounds of Ardnacrusha for key personnel who would need to be there if there was an emergency or whatever. So the family was reared then on the grounds of Ardnacrusha, so their memories there. And Ardnacrusha was a great place to live because the ESB provided pitch and putt course, tennis, badminton, there was drama groups. So it was a wonderful childhood for any child growing up there. And that was a great story as well. And then another man, he'd started work in 1955 as a storeman in Ardnacrusha. So his memories as well, they were just great memories. So I'm really excited about the project because it's all going to be digitalized now on the European website. So this information, which would have been lost except for this project, is now going to be available. It's going to be available worldwide, and it's truly a great project, and for anybody out there who has any connection with the ESB, Ardnacrusha, the power station, even the dam, building the dam, or anything like that, please come forward. It would be wonderful to record the memories, record the memorabilia. It's so important. It's our heritage, and it was one of the most important things to happen in Ireland, and it was the thing that started the development of Ireland, economically, socially, everything. So I really would just ask people to come forward. And you mentioned Rosemary. Rosemary is the contact in the Hunt Museum.
It's absolutely incredible.
So
Just even hearing your stories there, it's just, it's like, it's a piece of history that, as you said, would have been lost had you not gone out and gotten those stories. And I think nowadays we're so blessed because of social media and the way we document things that, we'll always have a piece of our history of what the life we're living now. But back then they didn't have phones, they didn't have social media, they had no way really of recording it. So I think it's so important to get these stories.
it's so important, and so far it's just been wonderful. I've just been I so appreciate I'm part of this project, and I'll talk to anybody if they want to contact me or the Hunt Museum. It's really a great project.
Peggy Ryan, it's been absolutely chatting to you as well. And I go on, sorry.
Oh yeah, just on the collection day, the Hunt Museum will have a physical collection day on the 26th of September in the Hunt Museum, and Deirdre McParland of the ESB archives will attend and give a lunchtime lecture. So if we miss anybody in this roundup, we're hoping people would come in and bring their objects and their stories with them, and we'll record them there that day as well.
Amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Peggy, and learning about Ardnacrusha and just the life there and the lifestyle. It sounds like it was an incredible time and place. So thank you so much for recording it all. And as I said, if anyone is watching right now and has a story to share, please do get in touch with us, because we need to get hold of all this history and share it online with the world.
Indeed. Thank you, Meghann. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peggy. It's the Limerick Post Show with me, Meghann Scully. I'm delighted now to be joined by Jill Cousins from the Hunt Museum. How are you getting on, Jill?
Very well. I'm actually enjoying this beautiful weather, and I quite like social isolation, so it doesn't bother me.
I think now we've all gotten so accustomed to it that it's going to be so unusual when we do, I suppose, return back to some sort of normality. I think we've all gotten so used to working from home and from being on Zoom and not seeing people in real life. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment when we all get to be in the same room together again.
It is, and I think for a lot of people that's really important, where you get your motivations from, and if it is really from other people, you need that for your mental well-being as much as anything else.
Absolutely, we most certainly do. Now, obviously, the Hunt Museum at the moment is currently closed due to COVID, but there is something really cool initiative. I absolutely love this. Fund a Cobble. Can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, Fund a Cobble is part of a bigger campaign to create a museum in a garden. This is something we've been trying to do for quite some time. The idea is that we take down the railings, that we take objects from the museum, we put them into the garden in sort of supersize, 3D printed and similar. So Fund a Cobble is to raise funds towards doing that. We've had a big nationwide garden competition, so we have a new garden design, which is actually a kind of reflection of the maritime history of the Custom House in which the Hunt Museum is, and linked obviously to the Shannon. So Fund a Cobble will raise money towards doing all of that.
And is this the garden that is facing the water?
Is the garden that's facing the water itself, yeah. So fantastic views out over the Shannon.
It's such
watch
a great
the sunset, etc. Yeah,
fabulous. It's so lovely. So for Fund a Cobble, people can buy a cobble. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. So the whole campaign is Fund a Cobble, remember a friend, create a garden, and you can buy several things. So you can actually you can go as far up as buying a bench, which goes for €500, and actually we've had quite a big take up of that. You can buy an engraved cobble, which becomes part of the paths for euros. You can come down to 25 euros, and then it's not an engraved one, it's a handwritten one, and you get that together with a plant, and it's placed in the garden. For £12.50, you can actually just get a handwritten cobble. But if you can only give us a fiver, we'll have your fiver. And that really is just thank you very much for supporting us.
I have to say, I love the idea though of getting a cobble engraved, because that's something so special you can do for a friend, a loved one. You can do it for yourself, and then I suppose it'll be there then for years and years to come.
That's very much the idea, and it's linked actually to this past period in COVID-19. People have lost people under it, and they want to remember them. There's also the honouring the key workers, people who have actually really gone all out in order to, and actually remembering that the work that they did for it. But we've also got people who miss sad things, like people who've lost their kids, or people who want to remember their parents who maybe emigrated but were Irish, and they would like them to have something on Irish soil. But we've also got people saying, oh great, this will be a present for my girlfriend, or and it is very much that kind of it appeals at all sorts of levels.
It's absolutely incredible. It's such a thoughtful thing to do as well. Jill, how can the public get involved with funding a cobble?
Well, actually, you can, if you type in Fund a Cobble, it comes up on the search engines. It's a fundit.ie campaign. So you go in, you have to register, and then you choose the reward that you want to take up. It doesn't go through until the whole thing is funded. Okay. So you will put in what you want to do. We have to get to 15,000. Actually, ideally, I want to get to 20. With 20, we've then got we've got another about 40,000 raised, and we've got to get to above 80 altogether to actually for the whole thing to go ahead. But yeah, so fundamentally, you can go to Fund a Cobble. You put in your things that you want to pledge against. The money only gets taken out of your account when the whole thing is successful. And we've got 90 in so far, 5,330 raised. So another 25 days to go. We really need people to come in and do a bit more. It's a lot of enthusiasm, but I need them to actually go in and do it.
I think though a lot of the Limerick Post Show viewers will only love the chance to remember someone special in their lives in the Hunt Museum. I think it's such a great idea. Jill, speaking about the Hunt Museum, have we got a date of reopening?
We have 30th of June, so it's a Tuesday. We're actually going to be closed on Mondays from now on, in line with the rest of Ireland and actually across Europe. We will have late night openings on Thursdays, and we're going to have extended hours on Sundays. Brilliant. And we're hoping very much for a beautiful summer, so that we can use the garden properly. We're actually going to put in crop circles to represent social distancing in the garden, so you can see what that means, and you can picnic there, and you can just come and hang out. And we've obviously got to put in a lot of measures as far as the museum is concerned in order to reopen safely, so that people feel confident to be able to come in. But we're pretty sure we'll be able to do that. And as part of that, actually, we've been able to extend the Best Costume Goes To, which is fantastic. That will now go through till November. And we've got a couple of new costumes going in, so even for the people who've been before, please come back, because we'd love to have you.
Oh, well, I'll have to come back. I was there when it opened up, and
yes.
So special in there. It's just so cool to see Michael Collins' uniform from the movie there in person, and Braveheart and everything. Like, some of the most iconic movies of our time are in the Hunt Museum. Their costumes. It's honestly, I have to say, one of the coolest things I've been to.
Oh, that's very good. Thank you. And this is the next coolest thing. So Fund a Cobble will be. We always move on to the next one. It's never. You don't stop.
I have to say, the Hunt Museum is such a great addition to Limerick City, and I hope that when the doors do open, that people come in and get to experience everything that's in there, because it has said it's just such a fabulous space.
Yeah, no, it is really great, and actually beautifully supported by the community, and part of the reason for doing this garden is to give something back to the community. So you open it up, it's open 24 hours for everybody, whether they want to create their own small community garden in there or they just want to hang out in there. That would be really fantastic.
Jill Cousins of the Hunt Museum, it's an absolute pleasure to chat to you and to catch up. And hopefully the next time we're chatting, it'll be in the Hunt Museum face to face.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, Meghann.
Thank you. It's the Limerick Post Show with me, Meghann Scully. I'm delighted now to be joined by Zara Dale and Aoife Newry. How are you?
Good, doing well.
First thing I have to say is Comhairle, massive congratulations for winning a gold WHO award, which we're going to get to very, very shortly. You're both members of Comhairle Nog in Limerick. And before we get into it, can you tell us what is Comhairle Nog and what exactly do you do?
Well, Comhairle Nog is Limerick's youth council. There is one Comhairle Nog for every local authority in Ireland. So there's 31 of us, is that right? Have I got that number right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So basically we take one topic every year and we work on that, but we're also usually invited to be part of different committees to give a youth perspective. So we represent the youth of Limerick.
Absolutely incredible. Now, Zara, can you tell us about the Not Around Us campaign?
So the campaign me and Aoife got involved with, we were asked to sit in on a few meetings and steering committees to explain kind of how we feel about the issue, give our opinions and input on signage and what we thought would be like the main focus of the campaign. So we the signage that was put up in playgrounds and areas that we thought children would like be around. So the whole slogan "Not Around Us" was they don't want the children smoking around, like they don't want the adults smoking around the children.
It's such an incredible campaign as well, and I think it's such a great idea and encouraging people, I suppose, to maybe quit smoking, as you said, not to smoke around children because, you know, it's obviously a health issue as well. Now, your work on it got you a gold award with the WHO, the World Health Organization. Absolutely incredible achievement. Aoife, tell me about the award and about the ceremony.
Well, the ceremony was pretty wild. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been involved in. I was accepting an award like after the Minister of Health from Armenia, which was pretty insane. So it's incredible to get recognition from such an important organization, and especially for a local project. Like this is the project that's was made just for Limerick, and obviously we're expanding now, but it started just in Limerick. So to get acknowledgement from an international organization is incredible. So it's huge for us, and it gives us a lot of, especially for Comhairles across the country, because sometimes a lot of people know that we're here and that we're a resource that's available. So hopefully this will give some marketing for Comhairle as well, that people will now notice that we're there and people can use us as a resource.
It's such an amazing resource as well, and as you mentioned there, it's international recognition for Comhairle Nog, but I said you've put Limerick on the map as well. So Zara, for anyone that wants to get involved in Comhairle Nog, how does that happen?
So once a year we have an AGM, and it's usually in late October, just before a midterm. And we'd invite people from different schools across Limerick City and County. And then students would come, they'd engage in different activities for the day. So we'd kind of get a feel for people's opinions, and they'd get to meet people from other schools and discuss and debate issues with them. And then at the end of the day, if people want to apply to be in Comhairle, they put their name down on a sheet, and we have interviews about a month later.
It's absolutely incredible. Aoife, obviously things are different now. You haven't been able to meet up in the way that you used to due to the whole lockdown and COVID-19 situation. Do you have any idea when you'll all be able to get together again?
That's actually something that we were only discussing just yesterday. So we're hoping that we'll be able to get back to meet together in smaller groups at some point before the end of the year. Obviously it will pose some difficulties, and because it'll probably be around the same time that we're allowed back into schools, because it is quite similar. But we're hoping that we can still hold an AGM, whether it be online or with a smaller group or two smaller groups in person. But we're not really sure at the moment. Everything's kind of still up in the air, but we're still working really hard at home. We're having just as many meetings, I'd say even more, to be honest. We're doing a lot of work from home, and everything's still going well with our project for this year, with our mental health is our topic this year. So we're still working really hard. So.
Brilliant. I know mental health is something that we all need to be talking about. Zara, for Comhairle Nog on social media, where can we find it?
Okay, so we have a Limerick Comhairle Instagram account, and it's just the Limerick Comhairle, and every day for a while they used to put up different things to like entertain people during quarantine. So some people put up videos of them baking or exercising, just to like have new content to maybe give people ideas to keep them busy. And then if we have something that we're involved with, like the award that we won for the Not Around Us campaign, they put it up on the Instagram, and just to let people know what we're doing.
It's absolutely incredible. Aoife Noreen and Zara Daly, thank you so much for chatting to us in the Limerick Post. Again, Ardnacrusha on winning a gold WHO award. It's absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to see you again. And hopefully the next time you're all able to have a meeting together, we'll come along and meet you all in person.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For these stories and so much more, head over to limerickpost.ie/show. I'm Meghann Scully. This is the Limerick Post Show, keeping Limerick posted.